Hey, internets, it's Jake, and
Oh, that's me. I'm Dwight.
hey, everybody, this is a surprise New Year's. I've been hearing people call it Christmas Adam. Um, Tomorrow's
Okay,
Christmas Eve, so this is Christmas Adam.
I like that.
Um, take that as you will. I'm going to preface this right off the bat by saying I think my internet is pretty straightened out. Thanks, Cole. I don't have my audio fully set up the way I normally do because I rushed into this, which means I didn't set my audio output to mono. All right, give me a shout out. That should be good now. Um, and yeah, I gotta click the mono setting on there. So just a heads up, if something goes sideways on this, we'll just redo it another night. Part of the hope is that this stream can live as a VOD on YouTube to serve as the preview of the Magic the Gathering WizKids miniatures that we want to show you. So hopefully everything will turn out pretty good. Thanks, Games Tavern. I'm going to turn my volume up. Yeah, as I said, normally I run a bunch of filters on my audio. I'll eat my microphone. And normally I run a bunch of filters on my stuff, and I just kind of threw everything together tonight. So this is sort of it's ironic because it's my first time producing in almost 3 weeks, and I threw together a half-ass stream
Yeah,
just because I didn't want to wait till next week. I wanted to be
yeah.
able to see what's going on. And I've been struggling with this for 3 weeks. Dwight's been helping me out producing this stream that we did last Wednesday where we previewed the WizKids miniature buildings.
My back hurts from carrying all your weight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Dwight's arm's cut off because he just still doesn't know how to frame his green screen yet.
Yeah.
Um,
Again, when we threw this together at the last minute, I just kind of threw this. I got one of these ones that sits in the back of my chair, so it's not where I normally
Look,
have it. But
I'm pulling
it's
my
good
coffee
enough.
cup out of nowhere, so. Okay. So what you see is what you get. We're going to go ahead and, like I said, it's Christmas Eve, Christmas Adam, whatever you want to call it. And you get a little
Wednesday.
bonus MTD stream. WizKids was nice enough to send over a whole bunch of goodies a week or so ago. You've already seen the papercraft terrain. Now we're going to show you some of their brand new line of of Magic the Gathering unpainted miniatures. This is a smallish box. We'll be doing another stream after Christmas where we show off about 2 to 3 times as many minis from the WizKids, Pathfinders Deep Cuts, Nozzlers, Marvelous Miniatures, all that stuff. But this is exclusively Magic the Gathering. Dwight has the cheat sheet that tells us what everything is. Dwight, I'm going to start with number 1. I'm going to throw it up here on the turntable.
Starting off, we have Magic the Gathering Unpainted Miniatures Jiraga Tree Speaker. Part of a pack with 16. Comes with Jorga Warcaller. Probably read a little too much there. But I'm just going to stop before the parentheses on numbers 2 through 19.
I wish I could
So,
zoom in on that.
do you have a way to light it a little bit more?
Um, my light that's lighting my green screen might do something.
High quality last minute production,
Well,
folks. So,
yeah. Normally I would film this stuff and then in post I would do some kind of an improvement.
right.
Here we go. there's the nothing but high quality here, folks.
This is why you pay the big bucks to watch
Right, and I have a fixed
MTV.
lens
So,
on the camera right now, so I can't
uh-huh.
even do a camera zoom.
Yep. That's okay.
But what I can do, let me try this. How's that? Little mood lighting from the phone there.
There we go.
And I'm wondering, I might be able to cheat this zoom just a little bit by doing Nope, that's the overlay. There we go. Do this. For these little ones. Except the next one's going to be bigger. You know what? They're miniatures. This is what you get.
Nice. I mean, just pick it up and hold it close to the camera at some point.
Well, I can't because of the focal point.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
You know how cameras work,
fancy
dude.
Cameras. Yeah, I do. That is true. So looking at Jiraga Tree Speaker, from the Rise of Eldrazi set, Jiraga was if my computer will catch up with me here, a 1 green creature elf druid that gave you level up 1 plus a green for put a level contour or level counter on this level up in any sorcery. It did a lot of cool stuff. I'm not going to read this entire card, so we're talking.
No, don't read the whole card.
So.
I'm trying to find where. Well, I was zooming by moving the window. Games Tavern. I think there is a way to do like a. Is there a way to do a zoom controller? Scale filtering. I thought you could do like a. It'd be nice if there was just a slider that I could do.
Does your camera? The camera itself, if you look on the
I'm on a
properties of the
fixed
camera-
lens, so I can't.
No, but I mean, if you pull up the camera in OBS, does it have controls that allow you to zoom in?
Your video. I don't think so because I think it ties into whatever the camera controls are in this shoot. This is a DSLR.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, we'll do this. What we were doing. We'll cheat it a little bit. What I'll do is. That's not too bad, right?
Yeah, that'll work.
And then, so I'll skip over number 2, which is a bigger mini. We'll do the 3 big minis at the end.
Okay.
So,
that'll work.
all right.
So what do we got? Looks like we've got some effects on a wand there. Can that make
Yeah.
this is a druid, so yeah.
Yeah, so I've noticed this in particular with Wave 12. This is part of Wave 13. That WizKids started adding translucent spell effects. When you paint these look really good if you use a really light, colored paint, or if you use like a wash or an ink.
Okay.
Then you can get some really cool that sort of translucent look to it.
Yep.
So that's got that magical effect going across the wand. Let's go ahead and move on to number 3.
Number 3 is Magic the Gathering's Unpainted Miniatures Corahelm Commander. Corahelm Commander.
So he's got a bit of a commanding presence there with a looks like he's got a his weapon has a I'm trying to see if it's a weapon or if it's a part weapon, part guidon. Got a bit of a flag hanging off of it.
Yeah. So it looks like Corahelm Commander is a 2 blue merfolk soldier. So that looks like this is coming off of the most recent
Where are you
card
getting
set.
that extra info from?
It's this thing. It's called Google, and if you just type things into it,
so
you will be
Dwight
provided
is
with
the
additional
bigger,
information.
I know how Google works. Dwight's just the bigger Magic nerd than I am.
Yeah,
I
have a very small amount of knowledge about how the system works. So.
Yeah. so the nice thing again is, as Matt Mercer actually has demonstrated more than once, and even recently, he used in their D&D campaign, he pulled a mini from Kingdom Death and introduced it onto the table. So as a D&D player, I look forward to bringing some of these things into my game. This could be a wonderful, even like a Hobgoblin commander or something like that. So let's move on to
number
number
one.
4 through 8. This one is actually interesting, and I believe about a week ago, V from WizKids, also known as the Crafting Muse, did a preview of this and actually painted it. So it comes with this specialized base. And one thing you'll notice is it's got a cool stone texture, but there's keyed slots, 5 keyed slots on here. So what is 4 through 8?
4 through 8 is Magic the Gathering's Unpainted Miniatures Obsidat Ghost Council. This is a 1 white, black. Legendary creature spirit advisor. When Obsidian Ghost Council enters the battlefield, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. I like this card. And I like where this mini's going.
Yeah, so basically what you've got here is, as I said, the slots are keyed. I'm trying to find the right spots here. They're keyed. They fit firmly in on the... Well, they will if you glue them. No, if you put a little pressure on them, they are fitting down.
Snap down in there. Okay.
Into there. They are all translucent right off the bat. I'm going to pull this off to the side a second so that I can put the other 2 on there without too much trouble.
I like where this is going. Just looking at this card again, you've got multiple different ghosts. Looks like a combination. This artwork's kind of cool. It's a combination of like some Ghostbusters looking ghosts and some Tales from the Crypt Keeper looking ghosts. So, yeah. So clearly they have recreated the ghosts from this artwork. This is the Ghost Council. I like this a lot.
Yeah, and again, this was one that V painted using the translucent, using like an ink, giving it kind of a greenish cast. Something that could be cool if you have the small button type LEDs. You could put them underneath them if you use them as individuals. I kind of like this as sort of a social encounter, I imagine. Where you just have the PCs approaching the Ghost Council, having to talk to a group of ghosts. You could have them meet them, and then you break them up. Now the 5 ghosts are in different parts of a dungeon, and they're going to encounter them for different types of dungeons, things like that. So Dwight will give you the magic specs. I'll tell you how I'll use them in
How you going to use them? No, that works. That works well.
So it looks like coming up next, we're going to go down to number 9.
Number 9, Magic the Gathering Unpainted Miniatures, Aurelia, Exemplar of Justice. Aurelia is a 2 red-white legendary creature angel with flying in mentor. Whenever this creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature with lesser power. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose up to 1 target creature you control. Until the end of turn, that creature gets +2/+0, gains trample if it's red, and gains vigilance if it's white. I call this the Tim card. This is the card that will smash you in the face when you think your deck's doing well, and Tim just pulls the game out of his butt and beats the crap out of you. And that is a fantastic mini.
It is. And when you see the actual detail, because I'm probably going to have you paint this one, when you see the actual detail on it, it's incredible. One of the things I really like, so a pro and a con, regardless of how they pack them, I think a lot of times the really thin weapons suffer a little bit. This particular one is wielding 2 swords, and the one sword has a curve in it that's like an unintentional curve. The other thing that I really like about it is that they have this new flight base on it. A lot of the older WizKids stuff had these very thin flight bases that were removable. Sometimes super thin, so even if you took it off and tried to put it back on again, you might snap it or lose them.
Yeah.
These are sweeping. They're wider at the base, thinner at the top, and they're glued in. The other thing I like about this mini is this is a mini where if in D&D, if I add this to the battlefield, you're in trouble, or you just had Gandalf ride in from the east to save you, depending on how you use it. To answer a quick question from what you're looking at, for the last couple years, Wizards of the Coast has been introducing Magic the Gathering settings to D&D with official books like the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, the Theros book, and further settings coming forth. So it's not surprising that there's miniatures to go along with Magic the Gathering. They own both properties. Why not cross them over? Yeah. As I said, I think you're really going to love the sculpt when you see this one up close. A lot of detail.
I mean, I love it seeing it from here. So yeah, I'm gonna.
Flowing hair, flowing robes, pre-primed like all their unpainted miniatures. So now we're going to move on to number 10.
Number 10, Magic the Gathering Unpainted Miniatures, Vampire Hexmage. Vampire Hexmage is a black vampire shaman with first strike. Sacrifice Vampire Hexmage. Remove all counters from target permanent. This clearly is probably going to be best used in like a vampire tribal deck. It's black and it's vampire, so it speaks to me.
The mini has a sort of a robe / dress that's got the split in it, so it's kind of breaking apart. You can see that she's stepping forward, and you can actually see the legs. Quite a bit of detail on the legs. And no, I'm not trying to be perverted in any way, but a lot of times with these kind of minis, what WizKids does is you end up with this sort of privacy zone that's just a solid undetailed plastic that might be the underside of the robe, but this one you could actually paint the legs a bit, and you could, I don't know, I just think it adds to the realism of it because you can see the legs sort of disappearing into the robes. Again, flowing hair. A lot of these minis are like in action, which I think is really cool. They're not just striking a pose.
I'm gonna second Cole's question. What the heck is sticking out of her back?
Good question. I was just thinking the same thing. My guess, it's really hard to tell because I don't know enough about the minis. It's either the ties of her dress / robe, like it almost looks like there's a belt that goes around her, or she's got some vampire tentacles, because that's the thing I just said. Moving on to number 11.
Number 11 is the Stoneforge Mystic. Stoneforge Mystic is a 1+ white core artificer. When Stoneforge Mystic enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an equipment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library.
There's so much detail in this mini. Again, see if you can see it as it comes around here. Those are double crossed blades on the back of her belt. Is what it looks like. It looks like she's got a total of 4 blades crisscrossing at the base of her back. Her robe's kind of tattered at the bottom. Her hair's flowing. Again, another in action. Really cool detail on the staff. Some people may have noticed that none of these minis have the round black bases. But they do come with them if you buy them in the blister packs. For this particular one, just so you know, they actually included them, all of the ones that go to them of the different sizes within. There's a special pack that they sent us that's not the traditional blister packs you would find these in. But again, some of these, what I think is really cool about some of these is they also serve as really good PC minis. Cole says they spend a lot of time in
wind tunnels.
Wind tunnels, yeah. Yeah. So overall, really cool detail on yet another mini. There's the painter part of me that looks at this and goes, how the heck am I supposed to get into her face there?
Yeah, see, and that's one of the things I was talking about on my stream last night. I'm painting some WizKids stuff. I love WizKids sculpts, but one of the things I have learned over the last few years, I really like the ones that come in pieces. As much as assembly can be a real pain, man, getting into the spots on some of these minis is a real pain in the butt. And it's one of the things I like least about WizKids, and the way they put their minis together. Well, and they look great, but painting them's a real.
And I'll say that, going back to that number 1, the sorcerer that had the magic effect swirling around, you're going to have to either try to break the glue loose and remove that spell effect from the base, or bend it out of the way to paint the legs of the mini.
Yeah.
I've got a WizKids Storm Giant that is holding a lightning bolt, and there's places where, as much as I tried while I was priming it, I got paint on the lightning bolt.
Yep.
I was able to cut the handle off the sword because it was sort of free moving in there, so that I could move it apart. But otherwise, I would have had to bend the sword in order to paint the details.
Yeah.
All right, we've got number 12 on the turntable right now.
We are currently looking at the Vampire Lacerator, which I originally read as the Vampire Velociraptor, which would be just as amazing, I think. But Vampire Lacerator is a 1 black creature card, Vampire Warrior. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life unless an opponent has 10 or less life. Again, more vampires, more happiness for my black heart.
Vampire Lacerator.
Vampire Lacerator.
I can't even say that.
That's a thing. Doing some homebrew monsters this weekend.
Yep, you're going to have to make some stats for it. So, yeah, again, this mini's hair is flowing in the wind. Lots of wind tunnel action going on with these magic minis. But this one is probably... It just doesn't have a lot of equipment on it. There's a little less detail. And this one has the... appears to be it appears to be male, and weirdly has one of those privacy things under the skirts that I was talking about. The female ones don't have that, but regardless, I think there's some kind of like a bandolier and the way that the stuff crosses across the top. I think you could use this as male, female, or as a gender fluid or non-binary character with no problem.
Nice.
And I'm always a fan of dual wielding minis, where they wield the same weapon, because that's how I like to play. And sometimes it can be hard to find those. So, all right. Oh, and I just threw it on the floor.
Why do you hate the mini, Jake?
I don't. I also lost it.
No.
Well, it just worries me because I don't want to roll over it. Give me 1 second. Yep.
Give you all the time you need because you're the man in charge tonight.
I almost rolled over it. It bounced backwards. That would have been tragedy. Okay, so next up is lucky number 13.
Number 13 is the Core Hookmaster. Core Hookmaster is a 2+1 white creature core soldier. When Core Hookmaster enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step.
So this is somebody using a... I think you could do a little bit of heat treating and move this around a little bit, which you'd have to for painting. But it's basically a long rope with hooks on either end. You can see the hook end trailing off on the bottom edge there. And then they're holding up the slack in their right hand and kind of looping it around. Again, it's kind of in action. But that whole thing, the sculpt is actually connected where the rope touches itself right in front of the knee, making it very difficult to move that out of the way when you're painting it.
Yep.
It doesn't look like it's actually attached to the mini. You can move it up out of the way and move this other end. This end right here can flex out of the way. But I'd almost have to, if I were painting this, carefully cut it away from where it touches the hands.
Mm-hmm.
And then reattach it after painting, because it just gets in the way. It's I don't know why when they're doing these sculpts, they're sculpting something that looks really cool, and it's like they're not thinking about it with a painter's eye.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is it's almost like if we knew somebody we could talk to, we could tell them, well, you're not making these for people that are going to paint them. They're going to look fantastic if you can get paint on them cleanly And I'll be honest, that's a big part of why I give up on a lot of WizKids minis, is because I can't get paint where I need it to. So I get it looking really good on like 85-90% of the mini, but then those spots that are hard to get at, you can't get them to look good
I
because
would
they're visible enough that you need to get them highlighted like everything else, but they're hidden enough that you can't actually get down in there and do it.
Yeah, I think I would end up more likely than, sitting here with a couple hundred unpainted minis.
Uh-huh.
And if I wanted to use this one, I might opt to do what V calls the sketchbook style.
Yeah.
And put down a flat black primer and then just hit a couple layers of white and gray for highlighting and call it done and say, here you go, it's black and white sketchbook style.
Yeah, and I mean, you can do. There's plenty of ways you can do just a quick paint. Just slap a base coat on. You dip it in the Army Painter shade dip, or just throw a quick wash on it, and then dry brush it, and it'll look nice. But with that amount of detail, those are the minis I want to spend some time building up layers and putting some highlights on and making it look as good as I can. But I can't see a lot of detail, but that is a mini I know I would love to paint, as good as I could get it. Definitely. But I know I wouldn't, because I'd get frustrated with it.
Yeah. And I think, again, if I'm painting this, the first thing I'm doing is I'm going, nope, I'm not dealing with that rope. And I'm taking my micro side cutters and I'm cutting it where it runs into the hand.
Yeah.
And I would probably even take a pin vise and drill a hole in the hand so I could kind of fit it in there better when I put it back together. But I mean, that's super highly detailed mini, but at what cost?
Right.
All right, let's move on to 14.
Number 14 is a Magic the Gathering Unpainted Miniatures Halimar Wave Watch. Halimar Wave Watch is a 1+1 blue creature merfolk soldier. It has level up. It is a 0/3 on the battlefields. Levels 1 through 4, it's a 0/6, or level 5, it is a 6/6 with Island Walk.
From a D&D point of view, makes a good Triton mini.
Yep.
If you had multiples, would make some great merfolk warriors.
Warriors, yep. Mm-hmm.
Again, nice detailed sculpt, a female figure. I think because of the marish nature, has a little bit more of a almost bikini like, but is wearing shoulder armor, leg armor that goes up to the knees. Has some kind of cool spikes coming off of almost like their fins coming off of the bracers.
Okay.
This one, no blowing hair, so there's a change. But it definitely has this stance like it's defensive or about to strike.
About to strike, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And has a pole arm, a pole axe. You don't see a lot of the pole arms on these types. I didn't adjust that one at all. And it looks like it held its shape pretty well too in the packaging.
Nice.
And that could change too, because these things get factory packed, so you don't know. There is one coming up that looks like it got dropped in when it was packed, and then some pressure was put on it, so the weapon's all out of whack.
Okay.
What do we got coming up next? Number 15.
Number 15 is the Magic the Gathering Unpainted Miniatures Goblin Guide. Goblin Guide is a 1 red goblin creature scout with haste whenever goblin attacks. Defending players reveal the top card of their library. If it's a land card, that player puts it in their hand. He's a 2/2. I want this mini.
I will give you this mini. So the thing that's cool is the Magic the Gathering's goblins. There's three distinct goblin styles. There's the Pathfinder, round head, big ears, big teeth. There's the D&D that has the sort of smallish heads, narrow features. And then there's these goblins from Magic that have these very angular, long faces with protruding nose and chin. And they're just teeth that go on for days. This one, he's holding a guidebook, And you can kind of see on here, but when you see it in person, the backpack has scrolls and maps coming out of it.
Okay.
And there's equipment hanging off of the sides. It's just a really good Goblin mini for an NPC, a PC, to throw in. You could, with that book, you could make it a Goblin sorcerer or wizard against the party. Yep, I know you're getting ready to paint a bunch of gobos up, and I'll make sure you get this one to add to that. Okay, number 16.
Number 16 is Jiraga Warcaller. Jiraga Warcaller is a 1 green, 1/1 creature elf warrior with multi-kicker for 1 and plus a green.
Wait a minute. No, it's not. That's
It's not.
why it's bent. I did not get that mini. I'm looking at the photo that we have. That's why it seemed familiar. So this is number 14, which was the merfolk person.
Okay. Yep.
And there's what's in the number 16 slot.
Huh, okay.
So bonus, we have 2 of those.
Now we have multiple we have a mer guard.
And that also explains why this weapon got bent. Because it was put into the wrong slot. So we don't actually have that.
Call the manager.
Okay, let's jump down to number 18, and then we're going to move on to the large-sized minis.
All right, number 18. So we threw my this thing out of whack here when we got the wrong mini there. But number 18 is Goblin Bushwhacker. Goblin Bushwhacker is a 1 red Goblin warrior creature. Comes in the battlefield at a 1/1 with a kicker for 1 red. When Goblin Bushwhacker enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until the end of turn. Doing good gobbo things when it comes into the battlefield.
Yep. And he's got what looks like a double-headed flail.
Okay.
And
could that be a double bringer of things?
You know what? You could definitely, especially with these kind of the shape of the sharp ends on what you could call the heads. Of it.
I think that's going to get painted for 1 Sarpring Organ.
Yep.
So
I will have to show him that. He's in a D&D game right now, but
no one knows what the hell we're talking about, but that's okay.
Nope. And it's enough of a inside joke and inappropriate enough that we're going to keep it to ourselves.
Yeah. Chat picks up what's getting put down though. So yeah. I mean, you see what's in front of your eyes sometimes.
Yep, indeed. And I think it's very telling that left hand is he's really bringing that fist forcefully forward.
Yeah.
So telling. All right, I'm going to, while the mini's still on the turntable here, I'm gonna get the camera all janky for a second because I need to put us back into something a little more. There we go. Because we're going to be showing some bigger minis now. Or who said that? Tamiko said big minis should be called biggies.
I like that.
So I would actually like to start with 19.
Well, don't we have to go back to number 2?
Yeah, but I want to go 19, 2, and then 17.
19, 2, and then 17. You're throwing me off here, Jake. I had my research all ready to go. Now I have to use the Googles on the fly.
That's why you have multiple tabs.
Right? So here we have Rakdos, Lord of Riots. Rakdos, Lords of Riots is a 2 black, 2 red, legendary creature demon, 6/6. You can't cast this spell unless an opponent lost life this turn. He is flying and trample. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each 1 life your opponents have lost this turn. Love me some Rakdos.
This is some high level, you're screwed BS.
This is the kind of guy that drops down out of the ceiling while Slayer's Rain in Blood plays on the phone behind the DM's chair.
Yeah, this is the dad to the brother and sister Cambions we fought in that room. 100%. This is their dad, and he is pissed.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if you're getting it, but look at the detail on that.
Yeah.
He's got
I mean,
spikes everywhere. He's got a chain belt that crisscrosses as a bandolier. You can see the crisscrossing veins and scars in his wings. The grain of that scythe-like axe.
Yeah, so I'm seeing like kind of like an earthy brown to lava orange and red color scheme for this guy here, with that skin drape between the, what would you call those, fingers in his wings? Kind of going into like a brightish, like a deep red into a brightish orange color scheme. Yeah,
definitely. And God, it's just so detailed. I'm just staring at this thing. I was looking at it the other day too. There's even little knobby spikes on the handle near the bottom edge of the scythe axe. He's got 2 sets of horns, the big massive ones that come off the top of his head, and then the curling ones off the side. I would even if I were running a D&D campaign where there was a character that kept showing up, and maybe it was a low-level bad guy that kept getting away, that's a tiefling. This is him just getting jacked up and getting eviler and eviler, and coming at the party at high level. Yeah. I just want to keep staring at this guy turning around.
Dude, it's and the way that your light is kicking off of it, I really like that. So.
As it comes around on the rotation, you can really see the shadowing helps to pick out that detail. Look at that face.
Yeah.
It's all skeleton. It's all skull. Yeah, you'll be painting this one, not me.
Yes.
Because I'm keeping the big one, the other big one that you want.
I know. I'll take that one though.
And
this
who
one's
knows?
more my jam anyways. So.
Who knows? Someday this could be one that Dwight paints on Big Bearded Nerd, and then does a giveaway.
It probably will be.
But yeah, this and I should point out, we haven't been pointing this out. I think it's on that sheet, Dwight. The cost of these. That most of these that we've been showing,
I'm just now seeing that,
are every one of the sort of medium minis that we've showcased are MSRP of $4.99.
Yep. These biggies are $14.99.
Yep. The biggies are $14.99. And that's pretty standard for WizKids Unpainted miniatures. For these larges and gargantuans, does it say on here what they are? No, it doesn't say what their size class is. Games Tavern says he is the super bad guy in the Theros book. Good to know.
Okay. Oh, very nice.
All right, let's jump to
All
2.
Right. Hold on a second. I want to read this. I need to see this when you drop him down, so I'm going to read this real quick. We're going to Boborigmos Enraged. I have no idea if I read that correct. This is a fat butt right here. So we've got a 4, 2 red, 2 green, 7/6 legendary creature Cyclops with trample. Whenever Borigmos Enraged deals combat damage to a player, reveal the top 3 cards of your library. Put all land cards revealed this way into your hand. I'm going to shut up now so we can look at this thing.
That is a muscly, chunky boy. I'll point out that his pauldron is a mastodon skull.
Mastodon skull, yeah. That's a thick boy with 5 C's.
Yes. Look at the thickness of that giant stone axe.
Yep.
Muscles for days. Big old cobbled together fur loincloth. There's spikes coming out of the eyes on the mastodon. Big thick beard and hair. Horns curling back. Gauntlets. Yeah, to me, I mean, this is actually a really versatile character to throw into a D&D game as a bad guy at multiple levels.
Yep.
Or, dare I say, as a good NPC that the characters encounter that helps them along.
Yep.
This could be
Some
somebody that
Cyclops
they ally with.
Yep. I just watched Kroll the other day, and Kroll features a massive, uh, scary cyclops that helps the adventurers along the way before staying behind to accept his fate, a death that he had foreseen.
All right, Dwight.
Getting on the Wayback Machine.
This. Well, no, I wasn't going to call you on that. I'm just saying we're about to drop the last mini from this box.
All right.
This is the one that you and I both dropped our jaws at when we saw the picture of it next to all the other minis.
So we're going to be looking here at Asperia Law Incarnate, which I cannot find a card for. Closest I could find was Asperia Supreme Judge. It's a two white, 2 blue legendary creature Sphinx with flying 6/4. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, you may draw a card. Drop that fat butt on that turntable, Jake.
What is what is the name?
Asperia?
Spell it.
Isperia, Law Incarnate.
So, Asperia, oh, I'm not logged in, is in Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. I had recently had to refresh my browser, so I can't look at it on D&D Beyond.
I can pull that up.
So if you want to pull that up, you can give us a little bit more information about it. But it is listed as a gargantuan monstrosity. Look at that.
Good Lord. Reed, if you're still there, you need to make sure you take a look at this one.
This is absolutely incredible. This is so it's listed for D&D as lawful neutral.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, this is the totally neutral NPC that is going to send you on a necessary quest to do a thing. And if you don't do that thing, you are probably going to die.
Most likely.
And there's a good chance that while trying to do the thing, you're going to die. This is akin to the Oracle Guardians in
that and Neverending Story.
Neverending Story.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. So I'll read some flavor text here from D&D Beyond. So Asperia is the current guildmaster of the Azorius Senate. As a Sphinx, she is aloof and values solitude above all. However, she has been forced to give up her privacy to deal with the increased crime and chaos in Ravnica. Asperia is devoted to her guild's belief that law is the ultimate bulwark against chaos, and it is her steady hand that guides the Azorius through these uncertain times. As Guildmaster, Asperia serves as the supreme judge, a role that takes advantage of her encyclopedic knowledge of Ravnica's labyrinthine legal system. If an encounter turns violent, Asperia refrains from using lethal force if possible, preferring to subdue a wrongdoing so that the legal system can mete out justice. Sounds like a quest giver to me.
And yeah, looking at the art that's in Ravnica, this thing is pictured perched atop the walls of a fortress.
Mm-hmm.
And its wingspan just spans the bulk of the fortress. So this is one of those minis that is representative, but it's easily... They could make a version of this to scale that would probably rival the Chardalyn Dragon or Aviatrix, the ancient white dragon, for size. As it is, it's incredibly detailed with this sort of almost sci-fi like armor to it, which steampunkish, which kind of fits with the whole Ravnica setting. It has a humanoid face. This thing is a CR21 creature.
Grief. Hello.
And it is a spellcaster with the spell save DC of 23.
Mm-hmm.
It's immune to it's inscrutable, no emotion or thought sensing spells. I won't say too much for people that might be playing in Ravnica or stuff, but she's got spells that go all the way up to 8th level. A lot of divine type magic, multi attack. If she takes a slash at you, that's a plus 12 to hit and dealing 3d10 plus 5 slashing damage, plus 4d6 psychic damage.
I love this legendary action that she has. Supreme legal authority for 3 actions. Asperia chooses up to 3 creatures she can see within 90 feet of her. Each target must make a succeed or must succeed on a DC 23 intelligence saving throw, or Asperia chooses an action for the target. Attack, cast spell, dash, disengage, dodge, yada 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 yada. But I just like that this supreme legal authority. If
Right.
she is the law of the land. She's going to put the smack down on your candy ass if you don't do what she wants you to do.
What she reminds me of, actually, is if you've ever played Bayonetta. Bayonetta basically fights against the angels of heaven, and they're represented as these sort of almost biomechanical beings. A lot of times they'll be these massive semi-mechanical creatures with wings and cherub-like faces, and they would absolutely do that, would issue something like this supreme legal authority and take command of other characters on the battlefield, forcing them to attack for them or, against others as well.
And I see a character like this, especially with that text about, she's aloof, and whatnot, that she 100% of the time thinks that she is 100% doing what is right, even when she's not, and she will wreck shit when she's not, but won't listen to reason, won't listen to anybody, because she knows that what she wants is what's right and just, and she wouldn't want it if it wasn't right and just. So since she wants it, it must be.
Yep.
And it could be one of those, good quest giver type NPCs early that winds up being the ultimate BBEG at the end of a campaign. So,
and I see doing a variation of what the art shows. I do like the sort of blue tones of blue and purple hair that they've done on the character art in the book. But I see a more gold looking armor with the big round bits and even some of the lines that run through it having this sort of almost electric blue to it. And that's probably how I'll end up painting that. Unless I get scared to death when I go to put brush to Minnie, and then I'll sheepishly give it over to you.
Nah, man, you gotta.
But no, this one has a lot of easy to reach places, and those wings are just glorious. I love.
It's one of the things I like about the larger minis too, is that it really allows. I use larger minis like that to kind of hone new techniques when I'm like, oh, I want to try something new. I find something that's bigger, so that I can kind of practice with more space, and work out some of the kinks, and then you work that down into smaller ones. So you can paint that, and even if you mess some stuff up, it's a lot easier to correct those mistakes on bigger minis like that. But yeah, that dude, you're gonna have a lot of fun painting that thing.
Games Tavern says this is a very intelligent creature, knowledge and wisdom for days.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a 26 wisdom, 23 intelligence. Its smallest stat is dexterity at 14. Everything else is 18.
It's 18 or higher,
or 20s. Yeah. It's crazy. So I'm going to show one mini that's not a part of this. I think I shared photos on social media. But since I've got the turntable going, I'm going to show, this was in with what WizKids sent over. And this was totally V, putting something in that she knew that I would absolutely love, because this is one of my all-time favorite monsters. It's one of the first things I ever crafted. In fact, I'll grab the one I made for comparison after I show this one. But this is from the new Tooth and Talon, I think it's called, is what the line's called. I don't have the box on me anymore. They have quite a few creatures, reissues and larger issues.
Ooh.
This is, of course, the Purple Worm. This thing is so big. I have their Icons of the Realms, their sort of classic one, which I'll show here. For comparison, it's a baby.
Yep.
and not nearly as threatening. This is a mini that you set down on the table at the beginning of the session in full view of your players, and you don't say a word, and occasionally reference that the ground is shaking, and you terrify them. And then if you want to make it even worse for them, don't ever actually use it.
Yeah. Yep.
So this is the one that I made for comparison. I'll throw this guy off here. This is the one I made years ago, probably about 6 years ago.
I remember you making that one. Yeah.
It's the first thing I ever crafted. I learned it from the craft father himself, DM Scotty McFarland from the DM's Craft YouTube channel. That is made from 3 rolls toilet paper, cardboard tubes, paper towel, glue, cardboard armor, air dry clay for the mouth, toothpicks for the teeth, and then rolled up glue and toilet paper for the dirt, and then I just put a bunch of flocking on it. This one I did actually set on the table several times next to the DM screen just to terrify the players.
So
nowhere near the detail of the other one, but...
If you used a giant worm in your game, would you let your players heal it if it was injured without any previously canonical reference to them being able to do so?
To heal it?
Yeah. That's a dig at Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. I've never seen this creature before. I don't know its taxonomy or anything about it. Magic.
All right. Space magic.
Yeah.
No, that purple worm. Put the
put the real one back.
Yeah. No, there's something I wanted to point out. Just watching this on a turntable, like the kinetic movement they have sculpted into this thing. It really kind of you see a lot more when it's actually spinning in a circle, but just seeing the way that it kind of rotates there. That base is basically stationary in one spot, but it's moving around its axis really well, and you pick up that kind of kinetic movement in the sculpt itself, and I really dig that.
Well, and this is a creature that one of its attacks is that it can swallow.
Mm-hmm.
It attempts to bite. I'm going to do the same thing I did in the picture. I'm going to put you in its mouth.
There we go. It's the way to go out right there.
Yep. So it can swallow you, and then while you're inside it, you're taking 6d6 of acid damage every round. It also has a stinger end that comes up out of the ground, and it can sting its foes. Purple worm poison is among the more deadly poison known to man. Probably right up there with iocane powder. So, again, this is not part of the Wave 13 or Magic the Gathering, but I thought, hey, we're at the end here, and I haven't shown this on stream yet, so there it is. Oh, this also gives me a great opportunity to show. I didn't see this in any of the UPM, the Unpainted miniatures, but for their pre-painted lines, something WizKids has started doing is their minis now come on clear bases.
Oh, clear bases. Okay.
And one of the things you'll notice so this one has the proper threat area, which is I believe a 4x4 square. Might be 5x5. I think it's 4x4. Some of the bigger monsters like Arviatris, the dragon, has a very large plastic base to support the mini. But then there's a smaller ring inside that represents its threat. Okay. But the reason they've started doing this is so that you can see the terrain that's underneath, because they know people are using these on Dwarven Forge and battle mats and homemade terrain. This way you can see your terrain underneath and still incorporate that. So it's just a really cool thing I wanted to point out that WizKids is doing.
Yeah.
All right, well, that is all we have for this box. Now that I've previewed it, I can separate some of these out. I'm going to put them in a disinfected box and get them over to Dwight so he can put them in his garage for 2 weeks to quarantine them. and then get to painting on these. So you'll be able to start seeing some of these show up on future painting streams. Also, I have to check the schedule. We might do it next Wednesday. This is sort of a pop-up stream, these preview streams. But we do have more Wave 13 with 2 to 3 times as many minis, all from a variety of WizKids, or excuse me, Magic the Gathering. What's the new Viking setting called? Kalimdar or something like that?
Yeah, I just want to say Isklof, which I know is not.
It's not,
but yes, that's when I hear Vikings. That's all I think of. So.
There are several pieces from the Magic the Gathering Viking setting in there. There's some WizKids or Pathfinder deep cuts minis in there, and then there's several of the Nolzur's Marvelous minis. And I know for a fact we've got some really big ones like the Froggamoth, and there's an Elder Air Elemental in there. So we'll be showcasing those. This is going to be a new format that we're going to do when people like WizKids or Wizards of the Coast send us things to preview. We want to get it in front of you as soon as we can, and the best way to do that is through live streams like this. And then, of course, you can always catch these on video on demand. So if you're watching with us now live, awesome. Keldheim, thank you, Games Tavern. Keldheim is the Viking setting.
There we go. Yep.
We'll have more on that in the future. And we will be doing the more of these things. And if you're watching with us on YouTube, watching the VOD, be sure to check out Mini Terrain Domain on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain, where we stream several days a week with Dungeons and Dragons. We've also got preview shows like this and other content, as well as over on our partner channel, which is the Big Bearded Nerd. Tell us what we can find over there, Dwight.
Yeah, twitch.tv/BigBeardedNerd21. We, just like we do here on MTD, we play a lot of games, but we play non-D&D games. So you can see Absolute Tabletop's Mecha Hack. You can see Star Wars or Call of Cthulhu over there. I also have my weekly painting stream, Let's Paint Tiny Things, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, where you'll get to see me paint a lot of these things. I just got done painting some stuff and giving them away, and I'll probably be doing some more with these awesome minis we got from WizKids. I have a small house and nowhere to keep most of these, so for the I'll be more than happy to paint these and give them away to some lucky viewers. So head on over there to check that out. We're off for a couple of weeks for gaming on Big Bearded Nerd. I'll probably painting. I may have some pop-up streams over the next few days, painting a bunch of 40K. So keep an eye out. I may do some pop-ups while I'm off the next few days. We're doing Let's Paint Tiny Things next Tuesday, and our next game will be January 3rd, Shadowport Adventures on the Star Wars Edge of Empire system. So go check us out over there.
And for those in the chat that are fans of the Hope and Redemption Harper's Tale stream, we will actually be streaming that this coming Tuesday. On the I forget, the 24 or 30th or whatever day that is. I think it actually might be the 30th.
The 29th.
No, it's the 30th. 7 days from the day.
Oh, it's on a Wednesday?
Yeah, you're right.
7
days from the day is the 30th. One day before that is the 29th. So we're both right. See what I did there?
I do. Yep.
And Cole Sparks, before we go, Cole Sparks brings up a great point, which is would love to see sort of the before and after with the Unpainted. And I think the best way we can do that is to follow us on social media, follow us on the Discord. In fact, if you type !Discord in the chat right now, and I'll put on the YouTube video, I'll put the Discord link as well. We have a channel on there where you can preview minis and we can put pictures. We both take before pictures and during pictures, in progress stuff, so that we can share that stuff with you. I don't know that we'll ever get to a point where we'll have fully painted the entire Wave 13 line to show up before and after. It's hard to tell. Like I said, I'm staring down about 200 unpainted minis. I know Dwight's probably got twice as many as
I have
that.
so many.
Not even
boxes.
counting the Warcraft stuff, but
Right.
we keep painting them. And we'll do giveaways, and who knows, you might win a giveaway and get a couple unpainted miniatures in there as a bonus. So yeah, just keep an eye out on that. Be sure to follow us on the social media, like, comment, subscribe, all that nonsense. If you're not following us here on Twitch, please do so, because we got so much great content for you. So with that, we are going to get out of here. We're going to end this stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.
Merry Christmas today.